Good evening and happy Wednesday to everybody. Welcome to All In Magazine, where bold voices and real stories are shared every single month. So, this evening we have an absolutely fantastic singer with us. And I actually clicked into her album before I came on. I'd sent you a message to say I listened to that
Yeah,
Broken Bones track. Oh
yeah.
my goodness. Well, I sent it into the group for all the journalists, and they're all popping back in saying how much they love the song. And
Oh,
it's lovely when something just happens like that. So I just want to introduce everybody to an absolutely beautiful singer, Kiera Dignam. How you doing?
how are you? Thanks for
I'm
having me.
good.
It's nice to hear that I'm in a WhatsApp group for a good reason. So that's refreshing.
Why? Has that happened before for a
I'm
bad reason?
I'm sure that there's been a few occasions, and I'm sure there's a lot that I don't know about. But yeah. So yeah, it's nice to be in for a good reason.
Yeah, well, for sure. It's fantastic. Where do you want to start? Maybe if you introduce yourself and let people know who you are.
So I'm a singer-songwriter. I was going to say what age I am. I don't want to do that. No, I'm a 40-year-old singer-songwriter from Dublin. I've been singing since I was 13, professionally on stages and stuff. Um, and kind of writing since then as well. I went through kind of when you're 13 and you think you know what life is and you think you know what love is. And I was writing like when I look back now, they were just really long poems. But I think I needed it was a great outlet, and I found that the older I got, I had my first son quite young. I was only 17 when I had him. So that kind of halted my dreams, I suppose, for a little while because I was kind of concentrating on being mammy and kind of making that work. And then I had two more kids, but after my daughter, which was 4 years after my first son, I kind of got back gigging and got back the passion for that and trying to build back my confidence, and then kind of started writing again and getting back into the love for that. So that's kind of how I navigate life and trauma and good things and bad things is through songwriting and stuff, um, and listening to music and kind of that's how I kind of walk through every emotion really. Um, so yeah, that's kind of I'm a mammy, I'm a wife, I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter. Yeah, that's kind of me in a box. If you were to put me
And
in a box,
what was the first song you ever wrote?
God, um, I don't. I've never put music to the first song I ever wrote. The first few songs I
Really?
wrote, yeah. I think when I was younger, I used to listen to songs that I liked. Like I was obsessed with Celine Dion, or like Celine Dion. I was obsessed with Whitney Houston, like big belty vocals. That's the type of singer I am. That's the type of music I listen to, and those were like big love songs. So I'm singing about. It's all coming back to me now. The fists, and I was like 14. I had no idea what she was singing about, but I felt every word. So then, as a result, when I would be writing my songs, and I use the term songs very loosely, at the time when I was writing those songs, I would kind of nearly write them to the melodies of the songs that I liked.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so I was infringing all sorts of copyrights, but they never saw the light of day, so it's okay. So it's kind of only in recent years that I've kind of put my lyrics to music and really made them actual songs, because I kind of when I got back gigging after I had my daughter, I kind of fell into the cover band hole that people get into, which it's great because you can keep busy and you're singing, and once I'm singing I'm happy, but it kind of meant that it was keeping me away from releasing my own music because I got really busy with that, which again it's a fantastic thing it's a great complaint. um but while I was doing that, and I was doing kind of corporate events and weddings and stuff, I didn't really have the time to kind of put into my own music.
Of course.
So COVID actually, although it was a horrific time for most people and for me as well, like I lost family members and stuff at that time. It also allowed me the time to just stop because I couldn't gig because I wasn't allowed gig. It
Mhm.
allowed me that time to sit back and say, okay, I can sit down and I can actually get this album done, and I can write and I can. Recording was a little bit of a dodgy situation for a while because we weren't allowed to leave the house, and any studio was kind of beyond me 5k type of thing.
Mhm.
So I was and with the producer. I mean, my husband is in my band. He plays guitar, so that was a really good help because we could kind of work through demos. I was working with a producer, songwriter, and he was sending me over ideas and sending me over songs and demos. So we were able to kind of go through keys and work through them. So that kind of got us through lockdown. And then everything kind of opened back up, and I was like, right, I'm just going to concentrate on the album. And then all the weddings that had been cancelled because of COVID all kind of came, and I was committed to them. I wasn't going to let those people down. So I was like, right, I'm going to get these few weddings done, and then I'm done with the cover gigs, and I'm going to just do my own thing. And then I got back into that kind of rat race of being really busy with cover gigs, and it's hard because like you're paying a mortgage, and this like music is my job. I never had a kind of quote unquote real job because music was always my way of making money, which I'm so lucky for that.
Mm.
Because I would sing at a lot of like wedding ceremonies and funerals and stuff like that, so it's not just the band aspect of it. um so I kind of got back into that, and it's very easy to fall back in when you're being offered these gigs and you're like, okay, I have a mortgage to pay, I have to
Mm.
put food on the table. I can't, you can't turn them down because anybody who's an original artist or people say a struggling artist, like that's I can verify that's a thing
Yeah.
because there's no music, or sorry, there's no money in that kind of music, unfortunately. And I know um Danny from the script only spoke about it yesterday. Actually, he was on a lot of headlines today talking about how AI is now kind of taking over from real musicians, and it's
Yeah.
so frightening because for me as a songwriter, like that, like singing, no matter what I'm singing, I'll pick up a, like I say, like a Whitney Houston song or whatever, and I can express myself through music in that way. But when you're singing your own songs and your own lyrics and your own feelings, it's a different level. And for somebody to um I suppose, connect to you in that way or pick up on your lyrics.
Mm.
That is the most special thing, I swear, like without sounding cheesy or cliche, it's the most special feeling you can have.
Yeah.
So for that to be taken away by AI and computers, like AI can be brilliant in some aspects, but there's certain things like feelings and lyrics from, as I say, it's a therapy for me. It's terrifying to think that music can be kind of taken away from real artists.
Completely. That creative side of things that you can't replicate with a
No,
robot. You just
no,
can't do it.
no.
And when you do try, you can feel it, you can hear the difference, and it's flat.
Yeah,
However, I'm even getting sent pieces of music now that's all AI. And people are saying, oh my God, I don't want to like it, but I really do. And
that's
I'm
it.
going, I know, and that's so scary because all of you musicians, you're out here pouring your heart into your music and your lyrics.
Yeah.
And suddenly there's this other thing that's
Hmm.
just coming and it's happening way faster. I don't know if you find this. It's happening way faster than I thought it would.
Oh, absolutely. And like when I was hearing about the AI and how computers are taking over and everything's going to be robots type of thing, I kind of it never even dawned on me that I
Mm.
would be affected or music would be affected because I was kind of thinking, okay, so it's going to be you go into your local Tesco's and instead of somebody at a checkout, you have the self-service checkouts. Those are the kinds of things I was thinking of, or computer IT type stuff. It never even crossed my mind that there was going to be a robot, I suppose, like writing and singing a song
Mm.
like that. I was just when this started to become a thing, I was like, oh my god! And at first, I thought it's a weird gimmick, but like, there's no way that could work or take off. But like you say, some of these songs are people are really picking up on, and like TikTok at the moment, as a songwriter, as I say, you can sit down and you can write out your feelings and put your absolute utmost into it,
Mm.
and all it takes is for an AI song or any song, but an AI song on TikTok for 30 seconds, a catchy chorus, and it's gone. It's like that uh first time in San Juan, that song,
Yeah,
this Puerto Rico song. That's an
that's
AI song, and it's like one of the biggest songs of the year so far. And then it like that's an AI song, and it's like, and it's cheesy, but it's, I mean, no matter what type of music you're into, it is one of those kind of feel good songs.
yeah.
But it's an AI song, so like no artist can take credit for that. So it's scary.
It is. And TikTok, especially being the place that it is, everything lands so fast
Yeah.
and people get hooked so quickly.
Mm.
And you're thinking, imagine if somebody, and it used to be like this way back in the day when you were 13 and you were singing and 14 and 15 and 16 and 17, people were locked in on a song and a chorus like that. and
Yeah.
you were singing it and it was in your head and you were sharing it with your friends. And for me, I was taping it on tape decks and life was amazing.
Yeah.
And now suddenly there's, and I was only looking at this the other day, you know, you went from having DVD shops to having CDs to having downloadable music on an MP3 to now downloading everything on your laptop. And suddenly there's a lack of, I don't know, intimacy or
Yeah.
connection
Hmm.
that people don't have anymore.
Yeah. Like when
And
I was
everything's
growing up, I was,
fast.
yeah, like when I was growing up, you'd hear a song and you'd buy the album and
Mm,
you'd sit and you'd go through the album, like whatever, there'd be kind of three singles on it. But
yeah,
on the fourth single, you would buy it. So by the time the second and third single came, you knew it because you're after listening to the whole album back to
yeah,
back
yeah.
constantly. But now it's like, even with Nepo Baby, my first album, like there's a few songs on it that you say, right, these are singles. The rest are kind of fillers because not it's just to fill up the album type of thing. Whereas it used to be a case of all the songs were important, but now it's nearly not worth your while releasing an album. You just release loads of singles, and realistically, the way things are going, most of them aren't even going to see the light of day, even on Spotify or whatever, because they're taken over by these kind of popular whatever happens to be popular for that 3 seconds on TikTok, and you become, not only does music become disposable, and as I said, like what it takes as a musician to not only write this music and the lyrics and put your feelings into it, but having to then record it, the financial burden it takes
Mm,
upon you to record it, to bring a band in, to get it mixed and mastered. Like you're talking in the thousands for one track,
yeah.
and it could just fall by the wayside because an AI song is after coming in and on TikTok. But again, like I mean, that's not to say like over the years people could have put thousands into songs and they just didn't work, and that's fine. But it just seems like things are so fast paced now in every aspect. It's like music is disposable. The artists are disposable, and it's like
Mm.
if your first song or your first album doesn't work, it's like okay, that's it. Like you're just discarded. You're not given a second chance.
Yeah, I watched a video the other day of an actress who I really like, and she has moved from acting and she's doing all of her own stuff now. And she explained why. And she said, since 2020, particularly, actors and actresses don't have to do in person auditions anymore. They have to do real tapes at home in their own houses, set up like they're on set, run the whole tape, and then send it in. So they might not meet anybody until the very end stage of an audition to know whether they've gotten something or not. And then the work has dried up so much and they're all having to do extra things. Is it similar in music? As in, are ye at the same stage creatively and artistically as that in the actor world? So you're at that stage where TikTok, fast songs, AI, easy generations, cheaper to make, cheaper to do. You don't really have to think about lyrics. Type in one sentence, let the song be created for you.
Hmm.
It feels like there's a parallel, and it feels like that across all artists of
Yeah.
all kinds of artists.
Absolutely, that's, yeah, nail on the head. To be honest, it's across all aspects of kind of creative careers, I suppose. And that's again, I still even talking about it, I find it mind blowing because
Mm,
how has this happened? How has it gone from having a computer serving you in your local shop to like a computer taking over these songs and music, and it's madness. Like it's very very frightening, and it's because when you're such a passion for something and it means so much to you, and like it's all I know. Like I
mm,
literally I don't know anything other than writing and performing and singing, and that's been my way of life. And for that to be threatened and you can't control it,
yeah.
it's a very very scary thing. Like, and like you say, for an actor to have to stand in front of like you can never be, you're never kind of yourself in that aspect. To be like, for example, like when I find I'm a better live singer,
Mm,
I come across not in a cocky, I don't mean that to sound in a cocky way, I'm just there's more energy, that you have more energy rather. Yeah, I think you're compressed a lot in a recording booth, for example. So if I'm in
mm,
the studio, I prefer to have a live sound because it's just it's live for a reason, you know.
Mm,
You're not as it's not as structured, whereas you're kind of, you could be singing to a click, and it's not natural. And so it would be the same in as an actor. If you're standing in front of a screen and you're trying to act this out, you're always going to be a little bit more tense. They're never going to
mm,
get the best out of you. So you could be the perfect actor for that part and lose it purely because you're not completely comfortable with, because you're not bouncing off a real person.
yeah. And that's the thing, isn't it? It's that bounce off. It's
Yeah.
that ability to get that connection with somebody.
Yeah.
So I've three questions percolating in my mind. And the first one I want to say, because I obviously we can focus on the negative side of things all day long.
Mhm.
So I'll finish the negative side of this because I like solutions also. Can you see a point in time where the charts will be just filled with AI songs? Is that a potential?
Yeah, unfortunately I think so, yeah. Yeah, because there's no one to regulate. There's nobody to say, right, that's it. You know, that's now, in fairness, as I said about Danny from the script, that's
Yeah.
what he's talking about. He's talking about, this needs to be, someone needs to regulate this. This,
Mm,
like, they found that a couple of his songs had been used as like an AI examples where they were basically ripping off a couple of the script songs.
okay.
So he's saying, like, something needs to be done, but like, what I would be, my concern would be, how do you regulate these things? It's exactly the
Mm,
same again. Not to go down the negative side of things, but being a musician or being just an actor or whatever in this industry, in the
mm,
music entertainment industry, you're out there, so you're
mm,
open to a lot of like, I mean, everyone wants a little bit of constructive criticism, but you're open to nastiness, you're open to trolls, you're open to all these things, and it's kind of nearly shrugged off by people. It's like, well, you put yourself out there for this. No, I put
no.
myself out there because I'm a creative person and I love to sing, and I just want people to listen to me. That shouldn't coincide with, well, you should be able to have a thick
Mm.
skin.
It doesn't.
Obviously
It doesn't
you
give
do.
people the right.
No, you do
No.
have to. Yeah, you do have to have a thick skin, but you
Mm,
shouldn't have to.
yeah.
So, like, what the reason I've gone down this road is, there's nobody really. Although I know there's Coco's law, I know there's things that they're trying to bring in to prevent people from online trolling and bullying. And I've been there. I've been on the bad end of that. I've had really really bad experiences online. I won't get into all that now. I won't bore you. But my point is, although there's an awful lot of hoops to jump through in order to regulate those things and get these laws in place and things like that, there's a lot to do. So I would struggle to find enough people in government or whoever puts these things in place to care enough about the music industry to regulate, to stop
Your
everything.
your sound has just broken up a little bit there, Kiera, for the last maybe say 20 seconds.
So the George there now. I don't know what happened.
No, that's good.
Oh,
That's
good.
good again. That's again. Yeah.
Yeah, I would struggle to find enough people in government or in power, I suppose, for me to have faith to say they're going to stop this and they're going to
Mm.
regulate so that not every song in the chart is an AI song. I just don't. It would be a nice talk to think that it would be regulated and stopped, but I don't. I honestly don't have faith in it, to be honest.
Just check your sound again there. It's going like a little bit transformery.
Yours is doing exactly the same. Yeah. That's what was going on.
Is it mine doing the same?
Yeah.
Let me check. Is that any better
No,
if I've changed it to that? No, that's mad, isn't it? Anything? How's that on your
no,
end?
same again.
You're clearer now.
Yeah, it's a little bit clearer now too. Now, if
Okay,
we were doing
perfect.
AI, this would happen. This is because we're real humans.
Exactly. So tell me then, in the grand scheme of things, because AI seems to be doing what it's going to be doing, right? And so
Hmm.
that's over there doing its thing. What's the solution for musicians right now? Is it to do the things that you've been doing, like weddings and events, even though you might not want to focus in that area? Or is there a way that you can, I don't know, put your music somewhere else, that means more people get to hear it. Do you know what I mean? What's the
I think, to be honest, I think live music, because this has been coming down the road, not only AI, just in general, like, everything is Spotify and iTunes and downloads, and there's no CDs anymore, there's no physical copies of your songs anymore, unless, of course, you can pay to get them done, but I mean, everybody just downloads things. Most people don't even have a CD player anymore. They just get like an Apple thing in their car, so a lot of cars don't even have CD players anymore. So this has been a thing that's been happening where everything has to be uploads, and then so musicians have already been struggling for the last number of years, because for years when you sell a CD or you sell your records, you're getting a return, and you're making money off those things. But with downloads, it's like 0.000 of a cent you make off a song, and you're after spending probably $2,000 to make the song. So this has been a thing that's happening for the last while anyway. And now on top of it, we're being threatened by not even being allowed to do that. So it kind of, to be honest, I think maybe the only way, I don't think you could stop it completely, but I think it's just live, getting out playing live gigs is the only way you can really kind of, like, that's AI or nothing is going to be able to pretend to, you know what I mean? You can't fake that. The only way of doing an
100%?
in-person gig is being a person, you know. But at the same time, things are tough at the moment. Like, I'm friends with a couple of comedians as well as musicians, and people are struggling to sell
Right.
gigs. It's frightening. Like, I played I headlined the Grand Social there in May, and it was a great crowd, and it sold quite well, but it was a tough start to kind of get the tickets to sell, because,
Right.
like, I love going to see live music, and I know a lot of people do, but it's like people are kind of, they don't really concentrate on the smaller local artists like myself, but and you're probably paying like 16 to 20 euro to get into a venue, and you're up close and you can talk to these people. So people aren't really paying for those gigs, but they're paying €250 to go to the Aviva to see an
I
like
know.
Taylor Swift or whatever, and there's no connection. There's not, like, you can barely hear, you know. So it's kind of, I don't
Yeah.
know. It's a tough one, you know. It's tough out there for artists.
A few years ago, I saw something really cool. I don't know if this would be something that you or any of the musicians that you know, the artists that you know, would be interested in. But I was at a party. It was in this fabulous woman's house. She's really boho. And she said, "We're getting a guy to come and do a house concert." I had never heard of this before. And I thought, what in the name of God is this madness? And she told us his name, and she said he's coming in. He's brand new. He's up and coming. This was years ago, maybe 11 or 12 years ago. And she said, if any of you want to have him in your house, just let him know, and he'll come in and he'll do a house concert for you. And you can get like your community, a bit like the Stations of the Cross used to be, but with a concert.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
thought, this is brilliant. And he came
Yeah.
in and it was absolutely phenomenal. And everybody chipped in and paid for his time. So he made some money and he got some great connections and he had some more concerts. And I'm always trying to figure out, if people aren't willing to go, because I know there's a lot of people not willing to go to gigs. Events seem to be very difficult to sell out,
Yeah.
whether it's an event for a speaker or an event for a musician, an event for a comedian, whatever.
Yeah.
Our house concert's going to be the way forward. Our community event's going to be the thing that bring
I love
music
that
back to
idea.
where it should be.
Yeah, I love that
It's
idea. And
class.
that was definitely a thing in lockdown for us anyway. We used to do a lot of, like, you'd see people going live, you know, on Facebook and that, and we'd say, like, tomorrow
Mm,
night at 9 o'clock I'm gonna go live. And down at my mum's house, we actually we started setting up with all the neighbours would come out, and my mum's, like, where my mum and dad's house is, it's they're the second house to the corner house. So the corner house had a big, huge
mhm.
side entrance. So they'd let us set up speakers, and we'd set up mics and speakers and guitars, and we'd do a gig in the garden, and everyone, all the neighbours would come out. And it kind of gave, it was like a sense of community that you'd get like in the 80s and 90s. That I remember my dad at the time saying, I never knew, like, they were living there for like 25 years or something at that stage. And my dad's like, I never knew most of these neighbours until lockdown. And now because you're kind of, that sense of community came back again. Whereas before it was just like you'd walk in and out and you might nod at your neighbour and say hello. But everyone is so busy and it's such a fast paced life. They're going to work, they're looking after kids. You know, people just don't have, it's not about ignorance. They just don't have the time and they're just tired and they want to get in, they want to make dinner or whatever. With this gave everybody an opportunity to come together, and we were able to play music. And there's a family around the corner from my mum's and they do the whole family, like every one of them plays something, their traditional band. And like the father plays and the sons and daughters, they all play all different traditional Irish instruments. So they came and they were doing a bit, my dad done a bit, we done, myself and my husband done a bit. It was brilliant. And there was actually, the reason I'm saying this is there was a young girl came at the time and she was in a wheelchair. And a couple of weeks later, I got a call saying this girl had seen you at this. It was, I think, our cousin or somewhere, someone lived near, and they had heard that we were doing this, so they came along. But they lived in Castleknock. So, and my mum and dad just lived just off the Navan Road, so kind of 15 minutes away type thing. But they said she's 18, and she has an illness that saw her in and out of hospital kind of through her whole life. And they were saying if she's well enough, all her wish is just to have a big party at home, and we'd love it if you would come and do a gig in the garden. And we did, like you're saying, like I have a 6-piece band. We set up a 6-piece band in that garden, and it was probably one of the best gigs I've ever done. Like, it was mad.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Fantastic. Yeah, and like she was after coming out of hospital the week beforehand, and the fun she had, she was up on her brother's shoulders and she had an absolute ball. And it was just so special. It was so lovely to just be around her community and her family and her lovely friends, and just to see her having such fun. And we were able to just bring in, like, she's had such a tough life, she's been struggling so much, and just to give her that night that she could really enjoy, like, it was amazing. That's the thing. That's another thing AI can't do. Like, to bring that joy to somebody in person is just an amazing thing to be a part of and to witness. So yeah, I fully support.
So can we commemorate today? Great. So 5th 2026, we are officially commemorating the resurgence of the gig in the garden. Yes. And the house concerts.
Yeah, gig and a gaff. That's what we'll call it, gig and a gaff. I'm from Dublin, so you have to call it gig and a gaff, no matter where you're from.
Awesome.
Yeah, this can be the official day. We'll start our petition today.
This is it. You've heard it here first, and this is your debut of gig and a gaff. I love it.
Yeah.
Class. Absolutely brilliant. Let's talk about your album. So let's talk about Nepo Baby first. Tell me how it came about, where the songs came from.
So as I said, we went into lockdown, and I was in talks with a producer from Limerick who was based in England at the time. And I got on to him and I was like, I write songs, but I don't play, and I'm trying to get these melodies out of my head and I need help. And as I said, I was trying to break away from the cover stuff. So he was like, yeah, I'd be happy to work with you. So my plan was to fly over to London and write and record with him. And he had sent me on a few demos of songs that he had that he wanted me to sing. So I was like, yeah, cool, we'll do that. And then I was to fly over, say, on the Thursday. And we went into lockdown on like Tuesday. So everything went up in the air. So it was like, look, we'll be in lockdown for 2 weeks and then you can come over and we'll make it work. And then obviously lockdown lasted like 4 years. So a couple of months into it, we were like, what are we going to do here? And I was like, I want to get this album started. Like, there's a lot of time being wasted and I'm getting no younger, all of this. And he was like, well, look, why don't we Zoom and we'll go FaceTime and we'll make it work in that way. And as I said, with Darren, my husband, we were able to sit in the kitchen and just go on FaceTime with him and work through chords and work through keys and kind of done it that way. So technology was great. It was a great help in that sense, getting the album sorted. So then when things were lifted a little bit, we had most of the songs kind of ready to go, and he happened to relocated back to Ireland, down to Cavan. So I drove down and went down there and recorded the album down there. And then when I had it all ready to go, everyone was like, so what are you going to call it? Like, is it going to be like, initially I was thinking, well, I just call it Kiera Dignam, just, at least I'm introducing myself and everything else. And then I kind of thought, you know what, no, I'm going to call it Nepo Baby. And everyone was like, absolutely not. Everybody was saying to me, that's not a good idea. You're going to come across as being kind of sarcastic or cutting. And I was like, well, that's exactly what that's the plan. Like, that's what I'm doing. And like, you know, people might be offended by it, but that's okay. Like, nobody cares if they're offending me. Um,
Yeah.
so, because it's kind of the thing of, you know, like I've worked, as I said, I've worked since I was 13, and in on
Mm,
my music and music in general, and just even when I'm doing cover gigs, I'm still forming myself as a musician and an artist and a performer,
mm,
and kind of in apprenticeship in that sense, and up against the kind of misconceptions of who I am because of my second name and because my dad was already an established singer and kind of taken away from me as an artist. So I kind of
yeah.
thought, I'm going to be called a Nepo baby. I might as well be the first to kind of, you know, it was a tongue in cheek type of thing. So I was like, if people are going to say it, I might as well be in on the joke.
Yeah.
So
I loved
that's
it.
where
I
the name
love
came
it.
from.
When I saw that that's what it was called, I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
some
but
people
you're right.
didn't
You
know.
might
Like
as well
when I
get
was
in
doing
there and do it because
absolutely, yeah. Be the for like if somebody, you know, people are gonna say
yeah,
it, so I might as well, you know, I'm gonna go along with it. I'm gonna be the first to say it, and if they say, oh well, are you saying it kind of like nepotism? I'm like, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And
yeah.
I know there was a couple of interviews at the time I done when I released the album, people saying on radio and stuff, and they're like, and what's Nepo baby? What does that mean? And I was like, so I had to go through the I was like, nepotism, Nepo baby. It's not pronounced Nepo, but
Oh,
yeah. So
yeah.
I mean, like it was a I was like,
Do
as
you
long as
know
you're
who I
asking me.
am?
Oh Jesus, no, I'd never
Yeah.
say that. But yeah, it's like that's yeah, that was a kind of it's like anything that's a talking point when you're releasing an album is never a bad thing.
100%. Yeah, 100%. No, I loved it. Tell me about Broken Bones.
So Broken Bones was actually initially where the producer that I was working with, um there was there was three of us, and one of them was there was a girl, I can't remember her name now, but she had been talking to the producer about her mother had gone through a tough time, and she was kind of trying to uplift her and stuff, and that's kind of the without the pun, the bones of where the song came from. And then when we started working on it, I kind of brought my thing to it, and I was kind of saying the way I wanted to portray the song, and I wanted it to be in my mind. I was like, I wanted this to be the anthem on on the album, kind of where it's the. I was thinking like everything when I write and record a song and I put music to it, I like to think of how it will be live and how it'll be like whether it's like a big
Brilliant.
belty ballad or if it's a sit down song with a piano, and I can kind of be emotional with the crowd and just me and a piano and me not playing the piano but a piano player and me. So I like to kind of imagine how it might play out live. And with Broken Bones, I was thinking of the like in the song, it's broken bones, broken. Time is a healer of broken bones. So I'm thinking I can get the crowd to be singing
Mm,
broken bones, and I can ad lib off them. That's kind of the
amazing.
thought process I had when recording it. So
Oh, I love it. I love the way that you think about things when you're making the music and how you visualize. That's pretty cool.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, I think
so then
that's how I
what
don't
would
know.
have been your
I don't know
favorite?
what way my brain works. Like that's how my
Go on
brain
ahead.
works is when like the way my brain works, I kind of will. Yeah, obviously, I'll have lyrics down and I'll know what the song is about. But I always will think, how's this going to translate live? Because that's so important. Because
Mm,
some songs you can play, and it's just like for example, have you been at a gig and they'll play all the best songs, and then they play a song, and you're like, right, I'm gonna go to the toilet. Do you know what I mean? So I never want to write that song.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, so I'm trying to think of the songs to get people like they don't necessarily have to be anthems that they're singing back to me, but if I have a song that even if it's a slow song, I can at least explain what I've written this about. I can say this is about whatever, the breakdown of a relationship, or this is about a friendship,
Mm,
or whatever the case may be. So even if it's not a big boppy song, and I tend to not write them anyway, to be honest with you, I'm a bit I'm a bit deeper than that. Like I keep trying to write a boppy song,
mm.
but every time I come out, I'm like, I just write sad songs, but that's kind of, I don't know whether that's where I am at the moment or whatever. But when I write them, I kind of am thinking, how's this gonna translate? Is it, like, as I say, if it's a slow song, even if it's just me with a piano, at least I can say, right, this is it. I kind of try and suck people in to not them for, so that they're not saying, oh, this is a slow song, I'm gonna go to the bar. I'm like, no, listen to this song, this might appeal to you. So I'm kind of trying to get people in that way.
Yeah. And what was your favorite song that you wrote for Nepo Baby for that album?
To be honest with you, I feel like there's songs on Nepo Baby that I absolutely love, and um I love how they came out. But I feel like music that I've written since then, I've had so much more creative control,
Mm,
um that I'm kind of, I nearly prefer, like, there's Made Just For Me on Nepo Baby. I just think I love that song
right.
because it's kind of about kind of being like the kind of like a young girl, and you don't have a lot of friends, you don't have a lot of people around you, and you're kind of
Mm,
you grow up to find out that it's not about getting love from other people, it's about how you feel about yourself. And I think the message behind that song,
yeah.
I could have really done with that message as a kid. So, as in depth wise, I
Mm,
think that would probably be one of those songs. The likes of Everybody Saw It Coming is on that album. That's a really kind of, when that was done, I said to Don, the producer, I was like, I want that one. I want this to be like nearly Kings of Leon, real heavy guitars, like nearly this is me rock song on the album kind of
yeah.
thing. And like that, I was thinking in a live scenario, this is going to be savage, like it's, and it is, like I have the electric guitars, it's
Mm,
really heavy drums, and I love doing that live. So I love different songs for different reasons. During lockdown, when I was kind of writing a bit, and when I was working with Don for the album, I I was listening to a lot of Brandy Carlisle, who I have since become obsessed with. And now the world, like, she was well known in America at the time, but now she's become mainstream, and everybody else is starting to rob her from me, and I don't like that. 'Cause I liked her being just belonging to me, but I
she's
sit listening
mine.
to her. Mine. But I was listening to she has a song called The Joke. And when I didn't want any covers on the album, but when I heard The Joke, I just thought, oh my God, like, I just thought it was one of the most amazing songs I'd ever heard. And just the meaning behind it, it's kind of about being oppressed and coming up against it, coming away from that, and being, it's kind of the lyrics are, let them laugh while they can, and it's kind of like the joke is on them, like, let them, because at the end of the day,
Mm,
you're going to succeed, and it's going to work out for you in the long run, kind of thing. That's in a quick way of explaining it. But when I was recording the album, I was like, I have to have the joke on the album, because it was a song that I actually sobbed. And I'm not an overly emotional person, but I remember sitting crying listening to that song, because I just thought, oh my God, how amazing. The lyrics are so amazing. And if I had heard that at 12 or 13, I would have felt heard. So it was
yeah.
important for me to have that song on the album. So that's probably my favourite song on the album, and I didn't even write it. But it's okay, because Brandy Carlisle wrote it.
I
But I do
love
that
it.
every gig. The joke is every gig, every festival. The joke is there, because I think, even though she wrote it, but I'm still delivering that message, because that song means so much to me.
Amazing. And since then, since Nepo Baby and since that album, how has your creative shifted or changed, or how has your writing changed? And what's been your favorite song to write since then?
So I have, as I said, I've since had a lot more creative control. I have
Mm,
full control over where my sound is going, what my lyrics are, the type of songs I want. And like, as I said, the producer I was working with, it was absolutely fantastic, and it was great to work with him and learn how to kind of do these things properly, the creative process. But to be able to not have anybody else to kind of say, this is where I think this sound should go, or this is like
mm,
giving me a song produced and saying, well, there you go, that's how it's going to sound. For me to start from scratch and say, well, this is where I want this song to go, and to have that turn into a song is like a different level of amazing. So I would think, I have a song called Give Me the Rain. And at the time, I was kind of, I wanted it. I was kind of right. I was kind of got, it was a bit of a dodgy kind of time where, again, like when I'm gigging and I explain a song, I never say, I was having a fight with my husband, so I wrote this song about that kind of thing. I will
Yeah.
always touch on what, because it could have been a disagreement with my cousin that day. It could have been with me mum. It could whatever. I'll never specify it because I don't want to sing a song and tell you what you think of it or tell
Mm.
you what you take from it. I want you to go, God, that reminds me of a relationship that I have with my father, and I could have written it about one of my kids annoyed me that day. You know what I mean? So I want it
Yeah.
in that sense. So with Give Me the Rain, it was kind of about a situation where you're coming up against brick walls with a person and you're like, I want to try and sort this out and make it work, whether it's a
Mm.
friendship or relationship or whatever the case may be. And it's kind of, although it was a tough situation I was writing about, I was trying to give it a little bit of light. So I basically was saying, I know the tough days are here, but I'm willing to stick it out because give me the rain now because I know that better days are coming,
I
type of
love
thing.
it.
So without sounding like Annie, it's like the sun will come out tomorrow kind of thing.
I love
But
it.
that's not necessarily what I was trying to do.
No, I love that. And I like that you don't put your spin on it for the people to take up. That's a really good idea. So
Yeah,
they
I
get
don't
to,
like to dictate because I think
yeah.
art is it's not something that can be dictated. It's what you take from it.
Mm, for sure. No, I love it. So tell me what's happening right now for you? What are you doing? Are there gigs?
Yeah, so for the summer is crazy. I'm away gigging a lot in abroad, which is the first year I've ever done it because my youngest
Brilliant.
is now 12. So I've been asked over the years to do cruise ships and things like that, and I always kind of said no. But for this year, I've been asked to go over to fly into Alicante and I gig in Cabaret over there, so I go for a week at a time. So I was there 2 weeks ago. I'm back next week, and then I'm home for a week and I'm gone again. Kids are gonna come and making a holiday out. So the summer was kind of taken up with these gigs, and then
Amazing.
I'm back into like I'm trying to do a bit of songwriting in between. So once I'm back kind of September, October, I'm back into heavy songwriting. So hopefully then there'll be a lot more new music for next year because I've 4 or 5 songs ready to go. I was going to do an EP, but I kind of have enough songs now that I'm halfway to an album. So that's kind of where I am now.
That's incredible. And you're getting to go away as well. So your
Yeah,
sound is going farther and farther afield in that way. I
yeah,
think that's
I would
beautiful.
hope so. Yeah,
And do you
yeah.
take the kids with you or do you take the kids with you or do you just head and do it yourself?
At the moment, we're just going because the two older, they're 22 and 18, and then the youngest is 12. So, this time next week now,
Mhm.
it's just going to be because obviously Darren plays guitar with me, so it's great that we can do it together. Um,
Mm.
so they're staying at home for that one, and then August we're going to bring them along, and then we're going to make a holiday out of it as well. So kind of kill two birds with one stone.
Class. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, if you were having a conversation with some new up and coming singer songwriter, they have a creative, they have a dream, they really want to do this, what would you say to them?
Um, I would say keep. I would push. I'd push like I think it's great to get into cover gigs to kind of get your confidence up, to get you to kind of shape who you are as an artist. But there's a very fine line between falling into kind of nearly being a tribute act. You know, and I mean, if that's what you want to do and you want to become a tribute act, knock yourself out.
Mm.
That's fine. But if you're talking about being an original artist, there's a there's a fine line, and as I say, it's tough because there's no real money in it until you kind of unless you're lucky enough to kind
Mm.
of make it big with a really a big hit or whatever. So the cover gigs are great to kind of get your confidence up, get people to know you, and then gradually, if you are doing that, gradually bring your own songs into your set list and kind of say, look, this is like I'm going to do Journey for you, but this next song is one of my own. And gradually things like that might help to kind of get yourself out there because
Mm.
it used to be a case where there was nearly a snobbery and as an original artist, there's nearly a snobbery of, oh, I'd never do cover gigs. But as I said earlier, the way things are going, if you're gigging, you're gigging. So you have to just kind of, if you're getting the opportunity to go onto a stage, try and benefit yourself by saying, yeah, look, I'm gonna do the gig, but I'm gonna do a few of my own songs as well, and at least you're kind of killing two birds with one stone there. So I
Mm.
think, yeah, maybe that's probably, I don't know if that's good advice, but that kind of worked for me.
But it is good advice. Thing that shows, I think, an artist a stepping stone of a way to do something. You know, I
Yeah,
had a
can never be a
conversation
bad
with
thing.
my sister a while back, and I said, never, like, we're missing out on the wisdom, I think, of the ages. You know, how way back in the day, before we had technology and everything else, we were listening to conversations. You'd have a grandmother talking to a mother and daughter listening, and so there was a wisdom that was being passed, and we
Yeah.
don't have as much of that anymore. So when someone comes along and gives advice, I think take it with both hands and then make it your own.
Yeah, like it may or may not work for you. You know, like you could always take snippets of what I say, take snippets of what you say, take a snippets of what he says, and cater it to what makes sense for you.
Absolutely. So with that being said, is there anything that you'd like to leave people with? Um, where have we gone now? Maximize that. I love how sometimes the screen just decides what it wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd you go?
Technology.
I
Told
know
you.
the joys of it. I did an interview with a lady a few months ago, and it was priceless. I'll just say that nothing worked the way it was supposed to. What would you like to leave people with to know about you and in general?
Um, I think that not only me, but I think you should never judge a book by its cover.
Hmm.
Um, and that kind of, like, as I said, as I touched on the nepo baby thing earlier, because people have kind of misconceptions and they have their mind made up of people sometimes. Um, so I think give people a chance, give me a chance. I think if you haven't heard me before, listen, and if you like it, fantastic. If you don't, that's cool. But I think listen to me before you don't like me.
Yeah, I like that. Well, I'm going to
Make
be
an informed
sharing.
decision.
Yeah, I'm going to be sharing Kiera with everybody because she has a beautiful voice. She's a beautiful sound. She is a phenomenal singer songwriter. I have already, like I said, shared her songs in the groups, and there's a couple of real, let's call them maybe musical snobs. Let's just go down that route for now, and we'll
Okay.
call them that. And they're loving it. They're loving it. One in particular really is into listening to bands and stuff, and he's come back and he's just said really, really lovely. So, like you said, give people a try because you never know who you're going to fall in love with. You never know who you're going to go, oh my God, and have them on your radio all the time.
Yeah, you never know. And like that, there could be a song that I've written, and it might strike something with you, it might appeal to you. And say, "Geez, you know what? I didn't think she'd be my cup of tea, but
Yeah,
that song actually clicks with me."
yeah. Everybody, Kira has said that she's ready for house concerts called Gig and a Gaff. So coming up
Gig
in
and a
the
gaff. I
autumn,
can't
winter
believe how quick that came,
2027.
came though. I'll
I
work for
love it.
Spice Bags
Kira, thank you.
as well on a cheap day.
Not at all. You'll work for money. And spice bags. How about the two?
Yes, yes. Spice
Kira,
Bags
it's
can be the
been
tip.
an absolute pleasure to chat with you. And thank you so much for your time.
You
And
too.
I will have everything in the magazine. It'll be ready on the 20th. I'll send you a link for it. And I hope you enjoy what we do with it.
Brilliant. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Take care and enjoy the rest of the evening.
You too.
Bye bye.
Bye.
I always get this wrong. It's too funny. So, guys, that was Kiera Dignam, and she is just an absolutely beautiful soul, as you can see from the interview there. So, she's our cover woman for July. She is also our feature interview, and you'll be able to read everything about Kiera on the 20th of July when we publish our 25th issue of All In Magazine. I appreciate everybody tuning in and watching from wherever around the world that you are watching. And I hope you enjoyed the interview. Like I said, I will be sharing her music, I will share her albums, and I really hope that you all enjoy them as much as I have. All right, take care, everybody. Have a great evening.